What is going on, guys, and welcome to Transfer Daily. It's going to be a show where I talk through all of the Chelsea news that has been in the media over the last 24 hours. And yeah, just sort of give my opinion on it and if I think we should be watching on it or if it's just a bunch of shit. First one from Pletty, that's just the most recent report from this morning, but there has been other people reporting on it that, Xavi Simons' camp is close to reaching an agreement with Chelsea and is open to the idea of going to Chelsea. Obviously, Arsenal are also in the question, but we all know, right? When Chelsea are in a race for a player under this new ownership, the only reason we don't get that player is if the player decides not to join us. You know, Rafinha, Elise, Kunde. There's a few players where we didn't get the player, right? But it's because the player decided, right? Whenever we've wanted a player, we always do the work before the other club, right? That's something that you can't deny with the new ownership. If we want that player, we will go for them. It's just if they want to join. So if Xavi Simons is open to us, I mean, I think this deal gets done. I'll be honest. I think it gets done. And obviously we've got good relationships with his agent. I think it's Ali Barat. So I think this deal gets done. I'm excited by the idea of Xavi Simons playing for us. I think he's a top baller. And I think, proper baller would be absolutely quality if we get him. Excited about it. Next report is from Simon Johnson. Obviously, found the news through CFC Pies. And that is that we're apparently looking to sell Sterling for about £20 million. I'm surprised we're even looking at that high, to be honest. I mean, the last 2 years he's played barely anything under Chelsea and then barely anything under Arsenal. So I don't really know where we're getting the 20 million from. Isn't he like 30 now? Or I don't know. Sterling is 30, but it feels like he should be 36 because he's been playing at such a high level. He's been playing at the high level for such a long time. I mean, he broke out for Liverpool like 13 years ago, right? So it just feels like he's been there for so long. I'd be surprised if we get 20 million for him, to be honest. But maybe we're sort of starting high and seeing where we go. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come to this time next year and at this time at the end of the window and we're still looking to sell him, to be honest. Renato Veiga is apparently agreed basically to join Atletico Madrid. Obviously now it will be to do with if the clubs can find an agreement on a total package. We want about 40 million euros, which I think is about 35 million pounds, considering we paid like 12 million for him a year ago. That'd be a really good flip if we get that done. I like Veiga. Veiga's a weird one, right? Because I remember when we signed him, none of us really knew anything about him, and obviously he played for us for about 6 months. I really liked the look of him. He looked quality. He could play left back, centre back, in the defensive midfielder role. He felt like just a really solid squad option, right? And something must have happened. I don't even think it really got reported, but something must have happened at some point that just completely changed the way that Veiga felt about the club. He went to Juve, had a decent loan at Juve, come back and now he's leaving. It just feels very instantly I don't know, it just feels so weird. But look, if we can get a good flip on him, I can't complain. But it does feel a little bit sad that I never really got to see Veiga play for Chelsea properly, because I do think he's a quality player. I think that's the sort of player where we sell for 40 million and then in a year or two time he's one of the best defensive players in the world, and you're sort of looking back at him going, probably shouldn't have sold him, sort of thing. Next one from Ben Jacobs is that apparently Man United are unlikely to bid for Nicolas Jackson, and a lot would have to change for that to change. Not impossible due to respect for the Chelsea striker, whose name has come up internally, but a possible move for now downplayed it as it stands. Probably because of the money involved in it, right? Obviously, they're currently getting linked to Mateta, Watkins, who are probably cheaper options than Jackson. I mean, I imagine Mateta is probably like a 30-40 million pound player. Watkins probably 50-ish million. I think with Nicolas Jackson, you're probably talking 60-70, right? So I think they're probably looking at it and going, do we go with Jackson or do we go for a cheaper alternative? Try and make a little bit of a just a bit of a cheap alternative. And I get it, right? Because, look, I think Jackson is better than Mateta. And I think comparing him to Watkins is difficult because obviously they're both different stages of the career. Watkins is in his late 20s, is it? I don't know. Let me check how old Watkins is. Yeah, Watkins is 29, right? So it's hard to compare Watkins to Nicolas Jackson. I think, yeah, maybe Watkins is cheaper, but I think Nicolas Jackson's going to get you a lot more football for your money. I think if I was a United fan, I'd be much more open to spending 60 million on Jackson than 50 million on Watkins. Watkins might get you a better goal output, but I think Jackson just offers you a ceiling higher than what Watkins is, personally. Look, I think Watkins is quality, but I think Jackson really could. I think if you make Jackson the man, he could go up levels. I mean, he's 23? He's had 2 20 GA seasons at Chelsea in all competitions in the last 2 seasons. I don't know. I like Jackson. I wouldn't be mad if we keep him, but I also think we've got so many options now in the front forward positions. I just feel like it's probably the best time for him to leave. Garnacho suitors believe he could be made available for 40 million. This is according to Telegraph. I mean, look, I don't like Garnacho. I made a video yesterday talking about this. I don't like Garnacho. I don't think he's a good player. I think he's got talent, but I don't think he uses the talent very well. I think he's got a massive ego for what he is. And I think at £40 million, that's not even an opportunity. That's just spending money. Like, 40 million for me is what Garnacho would have been worth a year ago when he didn't plummet his stocks. I mean, right now, I'd be looking at Garnacho as a 15, 20 million opportunity buy, where you buy him, play him for a year, see if he's decent. If not, loan him out, then try and get your money back. But 40 million, I mean, that just seems mad. Because to me, right, 40 million right now, Garnacho is shit at the moment, right? Stocks at an all-time low. So if you're saying 40 million for him, what was he last year? 60, 70? Because I just don't think he was ever that. So maybe my valuation of him is just completely different to what United's valuation of him is. But yeah, I wouldn't be going near that sort of valuation, to be honest. And then the next one is a double from Sky Cover. First one is Chelsea will use Hugo Ekitike's £79 million deal as a benchmark if Nicolas Jackson is to leave. Xavi Simons, Alejandro Garnacho, Morgan Rogers and Yenin Yildiz are some of the players on Chelsea's shortlist. First of all on that, every name there besides Garnacho I get excited about. Morgan Rogers to me would be number one, right? But I also feel like he's probably just not going to leave. I think Rogers to me feels like the most perfect option. I think he suits the sort of young English mould we have right now. He's obviously through the City Academy. We've got about 10 City Academy players in the club right now. And I like Morgan Rogers. I think he's a really good player. He can carry the ball. He's got versatility to his game. I think he can play deeper, but he can also play in forwards. I don't know. I think I like Morgan Rogers a lot. Xavi Simons, obviously I've already spoke about him. I think he's a top player and high ceiling. And then Yildiz, again, an unbelievable player. Showed it in the Club World Cup. The sort of player where I think in a year's time he could be looked at as one of the best players in the world. And I think he just needs, like, obviously Juventus aren't the same Juventus from a couple of years ago, and I think if Yildiz wants to be known as one of the best players in the world, he probably needs to leave Juve. I don't know what's going on at Juventus. I think they're in some sort of financial trouble, so maybe if we was to bid 50, 60, 70 million, they'd be tempted by the offer. But yeah, I do like Kenan Yildiz as well. Kenan Yildiz, to be honest, as well. So all three of those names I like. Garnacho though, not for me, man. I'll be real. And then apparently, again by Cava, if Jackson was to leave, then they may sign another wide player instead of another 9 because Pedro Neto can play through the middle. I'll be honest with you, I love Pedro Neto, but we should not be playing a guy that averages 4 goals a season in the middle. I mean, granted, I actually kind of agree with this, that we probably don't need another 9 because I think João Pedro and Delap are both solid options at 9. But we should not be given the reason as to why we don't need a 9, as Pedro Neto can play through the middle. Because I'll be real with you, Pedro Neto should not be playing through the middle. Pedro Neto is good on the left, he's good on the right, but I don't want to see this guy playing through the middle, right? Okay, He's had some good finishes, like Fulham, but this is not something I want to see on a regular basis. Okay, I like Pedro now, but he's not a number 9, and that's the way I look at it. But I do agree. If we do sell Jackson, I don't think we need another 9. That's kind of why I would sell Jackson. Is I think João Pedro's probably the starting 9 with Delap as the sort of impact player, and yeah, I'd look at one of the names he's already mentioned, Morgan Rogers, Yildiz, or Simons. I think all three of those guys would be unbelievable signings, and to me would probably finish off a squad that, I mean, I'm going to say it right. I think if we get one of those 3 with the players we already have, and everyone stays fit, that's obviously a big if. With how our squad's been in the last few years, it feels like every season we just get more and more injuries. But if everyone can stay fit, maybe title push. I don't even know. Like, I'm going to say this right. I think if we sign one of those players, and with the squad we have, if we are anything more than 7 or 8 points away from top at the end of the season, that's a sackable offence to me. Like, with the players that we're signing here, and with the squad we already have, and they've shown it in the Club World Cup, right? People are going to call it a glorified friendly, a glorified pre-season tournament. But the truth is, it was $1 billion on the line, right? There was hundreds of millions on the line, and every club went into that taking it seriously. PSG, Champions League winners, got smoked in the final. We need to be looking at next season, going, we need to go for the Premier League, Champions League, the FA Cup. Look, I grew up on Chelsea when that was a regular basis thing, right? Obviously, as a kid, we only won Champions League in 2012, but we were competing every season, and I want to see us compete next season, and I want to go to the end of the season and believe, even if we don't win something, because it is a young squad, and I'm open to the idea of it might be a year or 2 before we win the big honours. I want to see us develop into the team that can at least compete for those honours. And yeah, I think these signings are promising. Garnacho though, yeah. I just want to stop seeing Garnacho get linked to Chelsea. That's what I want to see. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe. I might upload another video later, but this will be a transfer daily video every day. Sorry, so every morning I'm going to try and make a transfer daily video. And yeah, appreciate it. Peace.